Hey everybody, ronarray here, and I always was a demon build enjoyer. I think the demon form looking absolutely amazing and can feel very fluent and fast with nice cool dashes. So in this video I want to showcase my ultimate build guide for Lightning Warp Demon Infernalist. The build is pretty impressive. It can destroy tier 4 bosses instantly, one-shot most of the enemies you will encounter, and stay very fast and proactive with crazy amount of instant blinks, together with dashes from demon form. It's also pretty tanky for a spellcaster due to big energy shield pool and very nice ES regeneration. Let's go forward and I will be able to explain how the build works in details. Use the timestamps if you need them, and feel free to subscribe to the channel for possible updates and other builds. Let's go! So in this build, we're going to utilize a few cool mechanics to make sure that we can regenerate and constantly cast. First off, it's Undying Hate Jewel with Tick-Rod bonus. It's going to give us Sacrifice of Blood, which will give us regenerate life per second per 8 life spent in the past 8 seconds, an additional life cost of skills. That is going to give us tremendous life regeneration, because we are going to use our life to pretty much cast the skill at the moment. So with that life regeneration, first off, we will be able to maintain our demon form stacks. That way we can play demon form easily just with demonic possession, and we can even allocate Master Darkness for Demon Flame has no maximum if you want it. On top of it, we are also going to utilize blood magic, so we don't care about mana at all, we're just going to pay with life for all our skills. It's going to be very comfortable too. And on top of it, we're also going to use Zealot Oath, which is give accepts life recovery from regeneration applied to energy shield. And that way we will be able to constantly regenerate our energy shield, especially stuck with other ways to regenerate life all across the tree. You don't need any life regeneration on your items anymore if you are going to use that tech, because all regeneration is just going to come from Sacrifice of Blood and tremendous cost of the skills. We also don't really care if our life is going to fall down, because we're going to have Energy Shield, which is going to protect our life, and we're going to tank most of the hit with Energy Shield itself. And as a main skill, we're just going to use Lightning Warp together with Ball Lightning. Ball Lightning is going to help us to pretty much blink around, because when you're using your Lightning Warp, you can teleport or near-death enemy or on your Ball Lightning. We're going to spam a lot of Ball Lightnings to just constantly teleport on them with Lightning Warp and stay fast in the maps to clear everything around us with ease. For that, we're going to utilize Spellslinger together with Custom Critical, Ball Lightning and Arc for additional chain magnitude for shock, which is working absolutely great and providing a lot of damage. So now let me showcase the skills, what kind of gems you will need to use, and I will also showcase all my items. Let's start with the tree and the items themselves. The most important part here is Undying Hate Timeless Jewel, which is absolutely necessary for the build. It should have a Tick-Rod bonus, so right here it should be Tick-Rod Amanumo Ulaman. The number itself is not playing any role because you just need a passive, so main thing that you're going to get is Sacrifice of Blood. Put your Tick-Rod in here, and Sacrifice of Blood you're getting right here, which is going to give you all your regeneration, since your skills are going to cost life. This is the most important part of the build. After that, go to the left and make sure you have both Zealot Oath and Blood Magic allocated. You can check the written guide if you're playing an early version of the build, however for endgame both of those allocations are necessary. And let's talk about the skills. For the skills, first off we are using Spellslinger. Spellslinger comes from the wand, so you will need to have a dueling wand with a Spellslinger skill itself. Make sure to buy it because it's going to provide a lot of quality of life for you. Spellslinger practically gives you an opportunity to use the skills after you stacked energy. It's also reserved spirit, so keep that in mind. You can use Spellslinger just occasionally when you already stacked your energy in the maps. And in Spellslinger we're going to have Ball Lightning, Projectile Acceleration, Multi-Shot and Efficiency. We don't have the last support because Spellslinger is like level 18, so don't worry too much about that. How to use Spellslinger? Generally, you just need to use it every time when you have an opportunity to pretty much boost your damage. When you're going to click it, there are going to be a lot of ball lightnings flying out of you and you can blink on them constantly. So just use it occasionally to move around faster, to shotgun bosses and just to make yourself always on the move. After that, we're also getting Sigil of Power. Sigil of Power comes from chiming stuff right here. And it's pretty important that Sigil of Power should be at least level 25 in your second weapon set. Sigil of Power is used only with the second weapon set and here only for bosses. It's not even necessary to use it that often to one-shot most of the Tier 4 bosses, but you can practically just utilize it like that. So put it on the ground, wait a little, and you also need to spend some life to get additional stages for your Sigil of Power. It's going to improve your general damage, so use it only for single target damage. I'm never clicking that in the maps. And next two skills are very important, because that's just like most important skills of the build. It's Ball Lightning. It should be a pretty low level because we don't care much about the damage, so level 11 would be just perfect. Together is Rapid Casting, Violenta Propulsion, Multi-Shot, Blind and Efficiency. Blind here is just because we are going to utilize Blind in R3 to get more critical chance, so make sure that you have that Blind allocated. Multi-Shot is just to shoot more Ball Lightnings, and Violenta Propulsion is working pretty nice too. So you're just going to cast those Ball Lightnings like that, and it should be pretty comfortable. You're barely losing your life when you're casting them, because that's a pretty cheap skill. It's only 100 life at the moment. So after that, we're going to utilize a Lightning Warp. When you're casting balls, you can literally Lightning Warp on them right after, like I'm showcasing right now. So Lightning Warp should cost a lot of life, but make sure that your life cost is not too high, because occasionally you will need for life regeneration to wait a little so you can recast your Lightning Warp. Usually I recommend life cost to be around 1000 and like 1200, but don't go higher than 1500, otherwise it will be pretty uncomfortable to play. For Lightning Warp, we are using Atalu's Bloodletting, which is going to convert all life cost, like all mana to life cost, and we're also going to receive a lot of physical damage per our life cost with Atalu Bloodletting. After it, you should use Considered Casting, Unleash and Deliberation. There's a few cool tricks that you can use. If Rakiata's Flows at the last gem is too expensive for you at the minute, I recommend to just play Lightning Penetration instead of Rakiata, so just replace them. However, Rakiata provides a lot of damage for bosses and I can definitely recommend it. Unleash by itself is very good mostly for bosses and for single target, so it's not too necessary to play it in maps. If you feel like Unleash is not really cool for it, you can replace it with Fiery Death for better clear in maps, so just replace that one and that's going to be fine. If you also don't care much about the life cost and you only care about damage, you can replace Deliberation with Blindsight. Blindsight is going to help you a lot with additional crit damage and crit hit, so feel free to just replace Deliberation. The only downside here is that your life cost is going to go up, so it could be a little uncomfortable at times. That way, I consider Deliberation much safer option. For Custom Critical, we are using Ball Lightning again level 11, together with Arc, Multi-Shot, Projectile Acceleration and Efficiency. Arc here is just to shock enemies, because Arc has 50% more magnitude of shock inflicted. That way, Arc is going to shock enemies and we're going to deal more damage in general, which is pretty nice. And Ball Lightnings on Custom Critical going to help us, because they're constantly going to be Ball Lightning around us, since we are critting a lot. The rest of the skills is very simple. We have like Arctic Armor, together with Knockback, Vitality and Freeze. Keep in mind that Vitality here is playing a very big role, because it's going to give you life regeneration, which is going to help you a lot with staying as demon form. When you can't hit enemies or can't cast and can't get regeneration from your tech rod. And the last skill is Temporal Chains. Temporal Chains is a very simple skill by itself, you're just going to slow enemies a lot with this. I recommend to use Heightening Curse, Curse Ground, Slow Potency and Magnified Area. Also, it will be cool to allocate it to the second weapon set, because in the second weapon set we are going to buff our Sigil of Power, and there are going to be a lot of cool AoE things. So you just using your Temporal Chains on the ground, they're going to stay there and slow down your enemies. Just use it against bosses for more quality of life if you're not one-shotting them instantly. So let's look at our tree. So in the tree, as I already showcased, it's pretty important to get like Undying Hate together with Sacrifice of Blood. After that, go to the right, pick the socket. It's pretty important to get like Chakra of Life with life regeneration right here. Don't forget to get bonuses for blind with distracted targets. And also Storm Charge and All Natural are helping a lot both. So take Zealot Oath and Blood Magic, and if you would have more points, I would definitely allocate that Jewel Socket too, because it's pretty nice. Don't forget to take Sanguinematic Rituals, because it's going to give you life regeneration together with Arcane Surge, grants more life regeneration instead of mana. Since we are going to get Arcane Surge from those 2 points, don't forget them. We will have 5% chance to get it on every critical hit, and since we are critting constantly, it's working great. I also recommend to take Blood Transfusion, but don't go for Sacrificial Blood. I believe that Sacrificial Blood, it provides about 20% of the damage right now, but it improves cost of the skill too much, and I believe it could be a little uncomfortable because occasionally you will be unable to properly cast Lightning Orb. That way, allocate Sacrificial Blood only if you're absolutely sure you can handle the cost. And in the rest of the tree, everything is pretty simple, we're mostly just traveling to the right and to the left. To make sure you're not getting stunned, allocate Stun and Ailment Threshold from Energy Shield right here at least 1 point. And don't forget that you need to have Dampening Shield as well. So those 2 points are going to protect you against elements. If it's still not enough for your element protection, you can invest 1 and 2 more Reach and Eldritch Wheel for even better element and stun threshold based on your energy shield. And it's also pretty important to use weapon sets. I have double weapon sets here, when the first weapon set is just used as my main one, and the second is here just to boost Sigil of Power and Temporal Chains. For the second weapon set, you can literally allocate like Royal right here. You can get some additional points here for Reverberation, and Chronomancy here is going to give you more duration and just like better AoE for your Sigil of Power and Temporal Chains. If you don't want to bother with weapon sets, you can completely ignore it and just play it without it, because it's a little quality of life and not too important. Let's talk about the items at the moment, because items is a very important part of the build. So first off, at the wand, you will need to focus on plus level of lightning spell skills. Try to get the wand with +5, since it's not too hard to craft at the moment. If you can get like cast speed, crit chance, lightning damage, spell damage, it will be just perfect. But the most important part here is just plus levels to lightning spell skills and crit itself. Everything else is playing much less role. It's also very important to mention that lightning damage right here is not that important as spell damage, because a big percent of our damage is coming from the physical damage through Atalu's Bloodletting. That way, just spell damage is going to give you more damage than any lightning bonus by itself. At your focus, I recommend to focus on +3 level of all spell skills together with crit bonuses. If you can get something nice like spell damage on top, it will be perfect. At the amulet, focus on plus levels again, so perfectly. Your lightning barb should be like level 30, 32 approximately to maximize your damage. So at the amulet, again, just try to get spirit. It's very important to get spirit at the amulet, because we need 160 spirit for the build, so you'll need 60 spirit come from the amulet. And cast speed, spell damage, crit damage bonus, all of that is a pretty nice just like stats for the amulet. I recommend to allocate Barbaric Strength, because it's going to give you STR together with increased critical damage bonus, which is very nice. For the rings, we're going to utilize Seat of the Cataclysm. Both rings are Seat of the Cataclysm. Mostly because they're giving you nice amount of chaos resistance together with a lot of crit bonuses. Both rings are giving like about 17% of damage each, and I think together they give me almost 40% damage bonus increase, so it's definitely worth it. If you feel like you can't manage double seed, feel free to use one rare ring at the moment, but double seed is definitely worth it. So for the body armor, make sure that you have allocated life. It's pretty important to have life on all the items, and some resistances. Energy shield should be around 700-800 if you can reach it. Same for the helmet, you need to focus on getting life, some resistances, and as high energy shield as possible. Same goes for the boots again, so you're going to get like resistances, you're going to have life, and as high energy shield. Make sure that you have capped resistances for fire, lightning, cold, and I recommend to get at least 70% of chaos resistance for comfortable gameplay. And for the gloves, it's very important to get increased effect of socketed items and maybe even life per enemy killed. If you don't have life per enemy killed, I heavily recommend you to invest 1 point right here for recover 1% of maximum life on kill. So either roll it on the gloves or include it right here. And increase effect of socketed gems is going to give us a chance to get 2 runes for cast speed in the gloves for 32% of increased cast speed, which is going to feel amazing in the gameplay. If you can get life on top of it, it would be good, but nothing else is important on the gloves except increased effect and maybe life per enemy killed. So for the belt, we're going to use Darkness Enthroned. And here comes a pretty interesting idea. So you can either use Thin Granular Rune of Mastery for Magnitude of Shock, or you can run Venomous Rune of Spinning for even more cast speed. I believe that my cast speed at the moment is more than enough, so I'm using Magnitude. However, if you want to be a little faster, just use the cast speed runes in the belt too. And don't forget that you will need a very special charm right here, which is Sanguinous Heron's Stotion Charm. It's going to give you immunity to bleeding and going to protect you against bleeding in almost all situations. So keep that in mind and always have an anti-bleeding charm on yourself. So the last part is pretty much a weapon swap. Weapon swap should just be a normal chiming staff with Sigil of Power and perfectly about +5 level of all spell skills. That way you're going to have a higher level of Sigil of Power and going to boost your single target damage. So on your life flask, I just recommend to get increased recovery rate, and mana flask is absolutely not needed because we have no mana at the moment. So that's pretty much all what you need to know at the moment. You can also check the written guide linked in the description, and there are going to be additional comments on what you need to pick at what point and stuff like that. Also, if you want to start with that build, there's additional videos and additional information that you might need to know if you're going to start it from level 1. Because currently I recommend to level up with Edict Contagion, swap to Lightning Warp a little later, and go to Tank Road around level 85-90 at the moment. But that's pretty much everything here. The only thing that I haven't commented in is our Ascendancy. So for the Ascendancy, I recommend to take Greening Immolation, because we will be able to completely negate all the Ignite bonus, or like all the Ignite damage we are going to receive, because of the huge regeneration we are getting from Sacrifice of Blood. Since that regeneration is going to recover our energy shield with Zeal of Oath, you will completely not feel the Ignite from Greening Immolation, so you can completely ignore it. It just provides a huge bonus damage out of nothing. So Demonic Possession and Bringer of Flame both are pretty nice. Demonic Possession is absolutely necessary because that's a demon build, and Bringer of Flame just providing additional clear because enemies are going to burn after you already hit them. However, if you don't feel like you need Bringer of Flame, you can take Baited's Wheel for additional spirit, for example, or even Baited's Hands for additional energy shield. I'm currently not recommending it because you will need a higher life pool to cast your lightning warps, but that's still a thing and an option. Outer Flash by itself providing an additional tankiness, so I definitely recommend that. So that's pretty much it, and hope you can enjoy the build as well. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Ronarray out.